Hi, this is Mary Grace, and it's been about a month, so I thought I'd give you a cross-stitching update. First, the next stitch that I'm working towards is Woodlawn, of course. The drop-off for Woodlawn is in January or so, and I and my bestie are both working on the same cross-stitch. It's got a lovely fire scene and the cats in front. And this is as far as I've gotten. Now, I had to rip this part out like 3 times and put it back in, and therefore I have run out of some of the wool. Fortunately, like I said, my bestie's doing the same project, and she's already finished it. So I've asked her to check and see if she has some leftover before I just have to kind of make do with some of the colors that I don't quite have anymore, hoping that she has enough leftovers so that I can finish the project correctly, or close to correct, because as discussed previously, I must have started it when I was tired and the colors up here aren't quite right. It's fine. So that is my first project that I have been working on, and that will be ready for January drop-off Woodlawn. Next, I have actually worked on the Blue Jay. If you've watched my previous Flosstubes, for the past 6 ones I've done this year, I've said I've not worked on the Blue Jay. I found it, and I worked on it. This is right side up. Took me a half an hour when I first found it to figure out which way was right side up, but I did, and I have actually worked on it. So that makes me really happy because that's on my list. Remember, there's a 2025 stitch list, and this was on the list, and look, I've made progress. So that was great. Next, I have been working on the owls. Okay, I did not purposely take this page out of the book, but the book only cost me $1 at a thrift store. And apparently I have looked at this page so often that it fell out. So those are the owls. And this is how far I am today. Now, late last night, see all this very dark gray? See this other dark gray? I had used the wrong dark gray, and that which takes you 2 hours to put in also takes you 2 hours to get out. But I did get some correct stitching on the dark gray late last night too. So, but I'm thrilled. I'm working on it. And again, another piece I found. I had misplaced some pieces, and I found them, most of them. Okay, from 1989, I am working on this little tomato. I stitch on this little tomato once a month when I go to meet with my friends at a stitching group in Virginia. We meet the last Sunday of the month, and so that's in my travel kit. And last time we were there, someone was handing out needle minders to all of us, and sometimes if we have extra kits or what have you that we're not doing anymore, we pass them to the members of the group, and we all have a good time meeting for the Sunday afternoon, and it's a lot of fun. It was started by the hiking stitcher, and we all meet up there. There's like 20 of us who meet there, enjoy the tap room, and do some stitching, and we get to meet other people, so it's a lot of fun. It's a bit of a haul, because as most of you know, I'm up here in Maryland. For me, that's okay. My bestie, I usually pick her up. She rides in the car with me and my other bestie too, and we get to talk for an hour first. That's awesome. Then we get down there. Then we purposely don't talk to each other. We talk to the other people in the group, and we all stitch together, which is awesome. Okay, I made a comment just a few minutes ago about finding my Blue Jay. At the Montgomery County Fair, I lost 2 pieces of cross stitch. And then I thought I came home and I thought I had lost the Blue Jay, and I thought I had lost the owls. So I have bought myself luggage tags to put on all of my cross stitches that leave the house. Haven't actually put them on there yet, but I've bought them. So that's the first thing I've bought, because I now, and I've even told my friends, because I was talking to somebody and they said, yeah, I lost something too. I was like, we've got to have more luggage tags. It's blank right now. And I'm probably only going to put my phone number here, not my address. But so that when we lose things, they come back to us. Speaking of losing things, I keep losing my seam rippers, so now I have 3. This one is ergonomic. It's really cool. This one lights up. I highly recommend a seam ripper that lights up. And remember, I mean, I've had the same seam ripper for ever. Shows this thing seam rips much better, and the difference the light makes. Get a seam ripper that lights up. So, lost 2 stitches somehow doing Montgomery County Fair. One of them was this night owl sampler. And fortunately, I was able to get another one off of eBay. And to whomever found it, it's a bummer because I still have all the patterns. I just lost all of the threads. So someone's out there found a bunch of threads and maybe the material. And it started and everything. On the one that I lost, I had only done this part and this part. And now you can tell it's an owl. This is really different for me. Needlepoint is really something new and different for me. It's gorgeous. I really do hope to have it done in time for the fair, but it's hard because now I do have quite a few things that I can stitch on. Because this year I do not have to stitch on a bear or a dog. If you look at my prior videos, you will know that I spent 6 months of this year and 6 months of last year almost exclusively stitching on embroidered animals for my sisters, which I wanted to do because I've always wanted to make some of them. But it was a very dedicated thing that I always had to stitch on those things. Now, I can stitch on a lot of stuff. I am thinking of getting a die and numbering them all, and I'll roll the die each night. That's as much as I can do for variety of just picking up what I'm going to work on. I'm not so great on all of the really cool activities that all my friends have, you know, basting what you're going to sew based on who's winning on Big Brother or on the British Bake Off. Having said that, I'm watching the British Sewing Bee. Yeah, it started in 2014, and I'm just watching it now. It is so cool. I highly recommend it. It's been very inspirational to me to sit there and watch those people sew clothing. It inspires me to work on my crazy quilt. I'm working on my crazy quilt. This is block number 2 of my crazy quilt. I was actually a little concerned because I have buttons on my crazy quilt, and I went and looked at some crazy quilts, and they didn't have buttons. But gosh, that button looks so perfect there. And I've made a mental decision that I'm now going to start watching Irish Ivy Blush Roses. She's this awesome, crazy quilter. And I'm going to, whatever 5 stitches she does, I'm going to do. Because I'm a little bored with my stitches. And I want it to be a true crazy quilt, have lots of different stitches. I have all my blocks all put together. Now I just need to stitch on them. And so that is my next plan, is to do a block a month. The plan is to do a block a month. It is the 1st of October. This block actually is nearly done, but maybe not completely. So the goal is to do a block a month for that one. The other quilt that I'm working on and trying to do block a month is the Flower Bonnet Girls. I am late to quilting. Sue bonnets, this is a variation of Sue bonnets, were very popular probably back in the 70s. You rarely see them at quilt shows. I've just come from the Pennsylvania National Quilt Extravaganza. There were 2 Sue bonnets in the entire thing that I recall. But I think Sue bonnets are so cool. And I wanted to do one that was based on flowers. But let me tell you, this is the plan I started with, because Tulip is one of the girls. And I had this really nice tulip scrap. And I thought, it's got this green background. I'll do the body in the tulip flower. I'll pick one of the colors to do the headpiece. And oh my gosh, look at those vines. I was very concerned about doing the applique of those vines and having to flip the material. But at the Pennsylvania National Quilt extravaganza, which is technically 3 hours from my house, but it took me 4. I ran into the woman who does Quilting Treasure stained glass applique, and she had this awesome kit all ready to go. It's got my 6th finger stiletto. It's got my tacky glue. She showed me how to use this nifty syringe. And she's got videos that I can watch. So therefore, I bought, well, this is the black. I bought black and I bought green of this really nifty material that therefore is all ready. I don't have to flip anything green to make the nifty stems on my quilt block, which was one of my big concerns. Yeah, see how I got all these stems? So I was very concerned about that. So, as I said, I started with this. That's not where I wound up. I wound up with flowers on black. So this is where I've done my first one. I told myself my first one was going to be a test one. Didn't really want it to be a test one. I wanted to be able to go. I'm still debating that. See, I want to do it the right way. I should say I want to do raw applique does not do as well at the Montgomery County Fair as needle turn and this method where you use the sew-in interfacing. So you can see it right there. I've used the sewn-in interfacing. I sewed it on top and then I flipped it. Okay, you can still see my white edges creeping around. I'll have to fix that. And also, the pattern, and I should have figured it out, the pattern shrunk by like 20% when I did that, which, honestly, because I wanted to do it on these hexagons, it looks a lot better on these hexagons shrunk. But, see these cool boots she has on? They were supposed to have that antique look where you've got the brown going here. You can see it here in the, well, I really can't see it, but trust me, there's supposed to be a brown piece on top of the green piece, but I could not get that piece. Once I did get it flipped inside out, but it didn't do it right, so I'm gonna have to do it with embroidery thread. So I've ordered some embroidery thread. I do like how this turned out, but like I said, I started with this fabric, went to 3 quilt stores, couldn't find anything like this. Then wanted to go quilting on Sunday, but the only quilt store open on Sunday was the Cottonwood quilt store. But I drove there. And I got this lovely yellow grunge material, but I didn't get any white grunge and I didn't get any green grunge. And then I went to my singing group in Virginia, and on the way there's a quilt store, so I got this green, and that's working well, but I need some white, and I went to my local quilt store today and could not find anything to make me happy, so I did not get it. But I did get that purple thing, and that purple thing really is helpful for 2 things. This purple thing is helpful for turning and getting these points, and it's also helpful for making my threads lay so much flatter on here. But I need to, it said, put a ribbon through it. It's got a hole. Got to put a ribbon through it so I don't lose it because it's small and I can lose it. So that is the plan, is to put a ribbon on that. So I might keep going with it even though it's shorter, smaller. You can see a lot of the white here, but I'm going to do my best to push that white in with my needle as I sew over it with my green pearl cotton, which I had to order. And I was so irritated. Okay, this is the largest size hexagon that I can get, and then that's not true. I want to do the thing where you fold over the edges of the hexagon. But and this is the number 10 that I have. This is number 10. But the 12th one I broke, but I figured out that the piece of wood that it came on was the right size. So I'm going to actually use the piece of wood itself as the template, so you can see this would fit on here like this for cutting purposes. It's actually probably going to be a little big, but I'm going to use it anyways. And then you fold it down and in, and then that makes the frame for the to go around, because I like to quilt as you go. So that is how I'm going to quilt it as I go. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to try and do echo quilting. I'm probably going to do echo quilting as opposed to doing hexagonal quilting, because that would have to be really straight. Whereas if I echo it, I can go in and out, and I can be more, it wouldn't have to be so perfectly pristine. And we know I'm not perfectly pristine, and I'm trying out new methods here. So the only thing I forgot to do with cotton was I picked up 2 reds of this. I didn't pick up a white like I should have. I didn't pick up the green. I've got a replacement green, but I couldn't find a white at the store. I don't feel like driving an hour again. I'm going to call up and see if I can order. So that's the plan. All right, so for the goals, Scary Stitches is done. Have not touched Snowbird Fairy. I showed you that I worked on Blue Jay. I showed you that I've worked on the needlepoint owl. I've showed you that I worked on the other owl. I'm doing pretty good on my goals. So that is my end of September update. Hopefully I'll give you another one in a month. I do hope that I would like to hope and thank you, those of you who have watched it, because you have inspired me. And if you're looking for inspiration, I highly recommend the British Spelling Bee. Thank you.